Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to CRISC Part 4, where today we'll be diving into database security and software utilities. These topics are critical for understanding how to protect sensitive information and ensure that your systems run smoothly. If you find this video helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. And of course, hit the bell icon so you never miss an update on our latest content. Let's look at preface. Look at the diagram. It paints a clear picture of a world where the stakes couldn't be higher. On one side, we have cybersecurity, the big, broad shield of the digital realm. But it's not just about blocking threats, no. It's about systematically managing risk, and this is where CRISC professionals come in. These experts in risk and information systems control don't just talk the talk. They guide organizations to implement robust risk management practices. Why is this important? Because, as the diagram shows, risk management practices directly tie into reducing something very real and very painful: data breach costs. We are talking about the shocking $4.45 million average cost of a breach in 2023. Let that number sink in. But what does this mean for database security? Your database is the treasure trove of sensitive information, customer data, financial records, intellectual property. Without proper software utilities to manage and secure these, you are leaving the door wide open for cyber attacks. These utilities, whether it's encryption tools, vulnerability scanners, or database firewalls, are the first line of defense. But alone, they aren't enough. You need a systematic approach to risk, and this is where CRISC professionals become indispensable. They make sure your software utilities aren't just there as checkboxes but are working in harmony within a broader cybersecurity framework, reducing your exposure to devastating breaches. So, to wrap this up, databases are not just back-end elements of your tech stack. They are the lifeblood of modern businesses. Protecting them with software utilities is just the beginning. The real magic happens when you have a cohesive risk management strategy that connects cybersecurity, professional expertise, and the tools at your disposal. And in today's digital world, the cost of not doing so? Well, that's a risk you simply can't afford. Moving next, let's talk about introduction to database security. Ladies and gentlemen, imagine a vault holding the lifeblood of an organization, its data. In today's digital world, this vault is called a database. Organizations, from global corporations to small startups, rely on databases to store and retrieve vast amounts of information every single day. This could be anything from customer records and financial data to confidential business strategies. But here's the catch: these databases are not just treasure troves, they're prime targets for cyber criminals. Database security isn't a luxury. It's an absolute necessity. Why? Because these databases often hold critical and sensitive information, data that drives business operations, decision-making, and competitive advantage. A breach can mean more than just financial loss. It could spell the end of trust, reputation, and even the business itself. This is why securing these databases, ensuring they remain untouchable from unauthorized access or cyber attacks, is one of the most critical tasks for any organization. It's not just about protecting data, it's about safeguarding the very core of the business. Ladies and gentlemen, database security is one of the most critical issues of our time, and today, I'm going to guide you through a powerful flow of ideas, visualized perfectly in this diagram. Here's how it all unfolds. We start with a shocking statistic, something that should grab your attention right away. Did you know that in 2023, the average cost of a single data breach was a jaw-dropping $4.45 million? Imagine that, millions of dollars wiped away because of inadequate database security. That's your hook, right there. Now, why is this important? The diagram moves smoothly into the introduction, where we explain how databases are the backbone of any organization. They store critical, sensitive data, everything from customer information to financial records. And yet, protecting them remains a challenge that many organizations underestimate. From here, we enter the heart of the problem, marked in red because, let's be honest, it's dangerous territory. Hacking, data leaks, and inadequate access controls are all serious threats, and if you are not vigilant, these issues can cause irreversible damage. This part of the diagram highlights the challenges we face in securing our data. But don't worry. The next part offers hope. We delve into the solutions, encryption, access controls, and regular audits. These are your weapons against data breaches. Notice the green here. Green is for solutions, green is for go. These practical measures are not just theory, they can be implemented starting today. Then comes the climax, our purple moment. We've all heard of the Equifax breach in 2017. 147 million people's personal information exposed because of a failure to patch a vulnerability. A cautionary tale, yes, but also a lesson learned. This is where you realize that preventive measures could have saved Equifax from a financial disaster. And finally, we wrap things up with the conclusion. You see that orange box? That's your reminder that proactive database security measures aren't just important, they're essential. You need encryption, you need access controls, and most importantly, you need to stay ahead of these threats. And just when you think it's over, we end on a high note, the call to action. You've learned so much, now it's time to share your thoughts. What are your experiences with database security? Comment below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. That's the flow, problem, solution, action. And that's how you get ahead of the curve in database security. In a world where cyber threats are growing by the day, protecting your data isn't optional, it's essential. And when it comes to databases, the methods used to safeguard this information can make all the difference. Let's talk about some of the key strategies organizations rely on to secure their databases. Encryption. Think of encryption as the lock and key for your data. Even if cybercriminals somehow manage to break into your database, encrypted data would be useless to them without the decryption key. Sensitive information, from personal identifiers to financial records, can be scrambled and rendered unreadable. This is the first line of defense, ensuring that your critical data remains secure, even if it falls into the wrong hands. Moving next. Database views. Now, you wouldn't show everyone your entire hand in a card game, would you? The same principle applies here. Database views allow you to show users only what they need to see, hiding the rest. This technique restricts access to certain data, offering a filtered view based on a user's role. It's like providing a window into the database, but only letting the right people peek through it. For organizations, this adds an additional layer of control over who sees what. Third in the line is secure protocols. When we talk about communication between systems, it's critical that these exchanges happen in a secure manner. Secure protocols, like TLS, Transport Layer Security, are used to ensure that any data being sent or received between a database and an application remains protected from prying eyes. It's like having a private conversation in a room where no one can eavesdrop. Without secure protocols, your data is vulnerable to interception. Last, we will talk about content-based access. This method is all about controlling access at a granular level. Content-based access controls ensure that only authorized users can access sensitive records based on the content of those records. It's like putting sensitive information in a locked file cabinet where only specific people hold the key. This is especially crucial when dealing with confidential data, as it minimizes the risk of unauthorized users stumbling upon information they shouldn't have. These methods, encryption, database views, secure protocols, and content-based access, are the pillars of database security. Each one plays a crucial role in ensuring that sensitive data remains locked away from potential threats, protecting not just the information but the integrity of an organization as well. Now, let's follow this chart. First, we have encryption. It's highlighted here in yellow because it's your primary line of defense. Encryption is like turning your data into a secret code. Even if hackers manage to breach your system, they won't be able to read the data without the key. That's why it's critical. Encryption ensures that sensitive data stays protected even in the worst-case scenario. Moving down to database views in light blue. This method is all about control, restricting what people can see. Not everyone needs access to the full database. Views allow you to limit data visibility, making sure that employees or users only see what they need. Think of it as giving a limited view through a keyhole rather than opening the whole door. Next, we have secure protocols, shown in orange. This is your shield when data is in transit, when it's moving between your system and the database. Protocols like SSL and HTTPS encrypt the data while it's traveling, so even if someone intercepts it, they can't read it. It's like sending your valuables in a locked box rather than an open envelope. And finally, in red, we have content-based access. This is how you control who can see what inside your organization. It restricts access to sensitive data based on roles, meaning only authorized people can access certain information. For example, only HR should have access to employee salaries, not everyone in the company. So, to sum it all up, database security is the foundation, and these four methods, encryption, database views, secure protocols, and content-based access, are the pillars that protect your data from breaches, leaks, and theft. And remember, the stakes are high. One breach can cost you millions. So, are you doing enough to protect your database? Share your thoughts below, and don't forget to subscribe for more insights into keeping your digital assets safe. Ladies and gentlemen, database security is no longer a luxury, it's a necessity. And today, we are diving deep into 3 critical methods that every organization should implement to secure their data, that is restricting access, efficient indexing, and backups. Let me walk you through these, one by one. First, we have restricting access, and trust me, this is where most security breaches begin. Administrator-level access is like having the keys to the kingdom. If the wrong person gets admin access, the damage can be catastrophic. What's the solution? Simple, limit who gets these privileges. Only a handful of trusted individuals should have admin rights, and access should be granted based on need to know. The fewer people with unrestricted access, the lower the chances of a breach. Next, let's talk about efficient indexing. You may think this is just about making data retrieval faster, but it's also about security. Inefficient indexing leaves your system exposed, vulnerable to attacks during those long, drawn-out retrieval processes. But with proper indexing, your data is quickly and securely fetched. Think of it like organizing a library. When everything is in the right place, it takes less time to find, and you are less likely to leave valuable information lying around for prying eyes to see. Finally, we come to backups, your safety net. And we are not talking about simple backups here. We are talking about shadowing, mirroring, and remote journaling. With shadowing and mirroring, you have exact copies of your database running in real time, so if one fails, the other takes over instantly. And with transaction journaling, particularly remote journaling, every change to your database is recorded on a remote server. This means that even in the worst-case scenario, a full breach or system failure, you can recover your data without missing a beat. So, the big question is, are you doing enough to protect your database? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to subscribe for more insights into how to keep your data safe. In today's digital age, data security is no longer a luxury, it's a necessity. Every organization, no matter its size, is a potential target for cyber attacks. So, how do you ensure your database is protected? Let's walk through some of the most critical security measures that every organization must implement, especially for professionals following the CRISC, Certified in Risk and Information Systems Control, framework, where managing risk and control systems is the priority. Now, let me ask you this, what's the point of securing your live database if your backups are vulnerable? It's like locking your front door but leaving your back door wide open. That's where encryption of backups comes in. Encrypting your backups ensures that even if a hacker gains access to your stored data, they can't make sense of it without the encryption key. For a CRISC professional, This step is about mitigating the risk of unauthorized access to both live and stored data. Think of it as a multi-layered defense strategy. Whether the data is in use or in storage, it remains secure and protected. You lock everything, no loopholes, no vulnerabilities. Moving next, let's talk about integrity controls, referential integrity and entity integrity. Ladies and gentlemen, integrity is the backbone of your data security. Without it, your data is unreliable. Let's start with referential integrity. This ensures that the relationships between tables in your database remain intact, no broken links, no orphan data. Think of it as keeping everything connected and in its proper place. Then there's entity integrity, which makes sure that each record in your database is unique. No duplicates, no room for data errors. Risk professionals know that integrity controls are crucial in keeping the database accurate and reliable, reducing the risk of data manipulation or inconsistency. It's about more than just keeping things tidy. It's about ensuring your database tells the truth, clean, consistent, and accurate. Now, think of validation as a security checkpoint for your database. Before any data enters, it goes through strict validation rules. Is the data accurate? Is it authorized? Does it belong here? Input validation makes sure everything entering your system is correct and safe. On the other hand, a schema is like the blueprint of your database. It defines the structure, ensuring that only the right type of data makes its way into the system. For risk professionals, this is about risk management. By putting in place strong validation rules and a robust schema, you are locking out vulnerabilities that attackers might exploit. No bad data, no backdoors, just security at every point. Now friends, think of your database server as a vault holding your organization's most valuable assets, its data. Now, would you place that vault right at the entrance of your building? Absolutely not. That's why the placement of a database server is crucial to its security. It shouldn't be directly exposed to the outside world, where cybercriminals could easily target it. Instead, database servers need to be placed behind multiple layers of protection, deep within the organization's security infrastructure. This includes firewalls, intrusion detection systems, and secure network configurations. The goal is to create a defensive perimeter so that no one outside the organization can directly access the server. In essence, it's like building a fortress around your vault, adding layers of gates, walls, and surveillance to ensure that no one gets close without the proper clearance. This strategic placement not only reduces the risk of unauthorized access but also minimizes exposure to potential threats, protecting the sensitive information stored inside the database from prying eyes outside the organizational boundaries. It's a critical step in ensuring the safety and resilience of your data infrastructure. Hey everyone! Did you know that over 90% of data breaches are due to poorly secured database servers? That's a huge problem, and today we are talking about why database servers should never be exposed online. Let's get straight to it. Take a look at this diagram. It's not just about placing your database server somewhere and hoping for the best. This is a layered defense strategy, one that radiates protection around your most valuable digital asset, your database server. At the center, we have the database server, securely placed and shielded. But protection doesn't stop there. Surrounding it is your internal network, like a fortress wall, ensuring that only trusted, internal traffic can get through. Then, we have the VPNs and IDs, your virtual private networks and intrusion detection systems. Think of these as your gatekeepers, encrypting data, monitoring for suspicious activity, and ensuring that nothing gets through unnoticed. But wait, there's more. Beyond that, we have the firewalls, the first line of defense between your internal systems and the wild, unpredictable world of the internet. These firewalls are there to block, filter, and stop threats before they even get close to your data. And on the outermost layer, we have the real enemies, external threats like hackers and malware. This is where the attack begins, but thanks to this multi-layered approach, these threats are stopped at each layer, long before they ever reach your database. Bottom line? Your database server should be at the heart of a well-defended system, protected by layers of security that keep external threats at bay. This is what modern cybersecurity is all about. Let's talk about software utilities, ladies and gentlemen. Software utilities might not always get the spotlight, but they are the silent champions in our digital world. These utilities, including device drivers and application middleware, play a critical role. Think of them as translators, converting high-level commands from applications into a language that hardware can understand and act upon. Drivers, for instance, are the key interpreters. They take instructions from software and convert them into actions that hardware can execute. It's a role built on trust. But here's where the danger lies: when these drivers are compromised, that trust can be broken. Suddenly, hardware may start responding unpredictably, executing unintended actions, or worse, shutting down entirely. Compromised or corrupted drivers can lead to a complete communication breakdown, causing systems to fail or behave erratically. In a world where precision is everything, the reliability of these software utilities is crucial. They are the invisible force that ensures applications and hardware work in perfect harmony, and when they're compromised, the entire system is at risk. Let's talk about something we often overlook in the tech world: drivers and utilities. They are the unsung heroes behind how our systems function, but if not managed properly, they can also be the weakest link in our cybersecurity chain. Here's why we need to pay attention. First, we will talk about outdated drivers. Think of outdated drivers as old keys to your house. Yes, they'll still fit the lock, but they're far easier to break into. When drivers are outdated, they lack critical security updates, leaving your entire system exposed. It's like leaving a door open for cybercriminals to walk right in. For risk professionals, this is a red flag, a high-risk situation that demands constant monitoring and updating to keep attackers out. Next, we will talk about unavailability of drivers. Ladies and gentlemen, now, imagine needing a spare part for your car, but it's no longer made. The same thing happens with drivers. Sometimes they just become unavailable. When your hardware can't find the necessary drivers, it can't function, and worse, you might be forced to use sketchy third-party drivers. This opens up a whole new world of risks. A risk professional would call this an operational nightmare because unavailability compromises both security and functionality. Third in the line is unpatched drivers. Unpatched drivers are like leaving cracks in your fortress walls. The longer you leave them unpatched, the easier it becomes for someone to exploit those weaknesses. Hackers love these gaps. What should be a routine update becomes a ticking time bomb. And for companies that delay patching, the consequences could be catastrophic: data breaches, unauthorized access, system failures. The risk here? Through the roof. Next in the line is insecure components. Using insecure components is like relying on a rusty old lock for protection. Older encryption algorithms and unsupported software components offer minimal resistance against modern cyber attacks. You might think your data is safe, but in reality, it's like hiding valuables under a flimsy doormat. For risk professionals, this means identifying these outdated, insecure components and ensuring they are replaced with up-to-date, reliable alternatives. Lastly, vulnerabilities are the open wounds in your security infrastructure. These are the weaknesses hackers hunt for. If left unpatched, they are the gateway for unauthorized access, data theft, or even complete control of your system. Vulnerability management is a key concern in risk, and ignoring these risks is essentially inviting attackers to exploit your system. In conclusion, these areas: outdated, unavailable, unpatched drivers, insecure components, and vulnerabilities are serious concerns. They are like weak spots in the armor of your organization's IT infrastructure. It's crucial to constantly update, patch, and secure these elements to stay ahead of cyber threats. A proactive, risk-aware approach is the best defense. And remember, cybercriminals are always looking for that one weakness. Don't let it be your drivers. In conclusion, database security and software utilities are the foundation of safeguarding your organization's most valuable data. Implementing these strategies is crucial to stay ahead of cyber threats and protect your business. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more insights.